Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. My name is Jefferson Braswell, and I've been appointed as the Special Magistrate pursuant to Chapter 162 Florida statutes to hear code enforcement matters brought by the City of Gainesville. And pursuant to Chapter 162, those of you that are charged with violations of the provision of the City of Gainesville Code of Ordinances are entitled to a formal adjudicatory hearing, also known as a quasi-judicial hearing, to determine if a violation exists, to determine if you have a defense to the violation, and ultimately, if you are determined to be guilty of a violation, I will impose a penalty upon you in accordance with applicable law. The maximum penalty that I can impose is a fine of $1,000 per day. As part of the formal adjudicatory hearing, you are entitled to specific rights, which are not necessarily limited to the following. You are entitled to hear the charges against you and to see and hear the evidence against you. You have a right to testify on your own behalf. You have a right to cross-examine and question those that testify against you. You have a right to call your own witnesses. I will, at my discretion, be applying the Florida Rules of Evidence in my decisions. That said, I'm going to swear in the officers that will be representing the Code Enforcement Office first, and then as each of you come to the dais, we'll swear you in as you offer that testimony. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? I do. Okay, so the first matter we're going to hear this morning is, as I understand it, a request for continuance. This is on City of Gainesville versus 4741 Northwest 27th Terrace, Gainesville Land and Trust. Officer Gatto.
Good morning. Hi,
Good morning.
I'm Officer Lita Gatto, and yes, I'm requesting a continuance for that. I've submitted the paperwork to my supervisor. It's signed, and it is in the system. I did scan it in.
Okay, and is the respondent moving toward compliance?
Yes, he actually came today in case we needed to present, but he is doing a good job of moving towards compliance.
Okay, perfect. Based on that representation, that matter will be continued to the next code enforcement hearing.
Okay.
Next item we're going to hear is City of Gainesville versus 205 Southeast 16th Avenue Apartment 16G. And that's special, I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. That's the address. It's City of Gainesville versus Sweetwater 16LP. And that special magistrate numbers 2022-133 and 2022-134. Is it possible to hear these at the same time, or should I keep these separate?
They're different things, but it's the same apartment complex. It's up to you.
Is it the same respondent?
Yes. No. Yes. No, it's not the same.
We'll deal with these both at the same time, and then we'll just make sure that the record, make sure that as you present, that you keep each of these cases
Yes, sir.
separate, so that, you know, I think it'll probably work out in the end to consider them together.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
Code Enforcement Officer Hall, this is Special Magistrate Case 2022133. The address is 205 Southeast 16th Avenue complex. This is for the complex. Let's see. The property information, the parcel number is 15701-055-000. The owner of record is Sweetwater 16LP. The property zoning is RMF 7. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. So it is located right here off Williston and 16th right there.
Okay.
On 10/11/22, I observed a number of stairwells damaged while on the property. I was there for another complaint, and when I just was walking around, a lot of them were loose. Some of the steel railings were loose, and some of the tread was damaged. This is a multi-unit apartment complex. The ordinance violated was 304.1.1, unsafe conditions. The following conditions shall be determined as unsafe and shall be repaired or replaced to comply with the code as required for existing buildings. It was number 12, exterior stairs, decks, porches, balconies, and all similar appendages attached, therefore, including guards, handrails, are not structurally sound, not properly anchored, or that are anchored with connections not capable of supporting all normal loads. The corrective action was to inspect and repair all stairwells, porches, and balconies to ensure that they are structurally sound. So this is one of the stairs here. It's kind of hard to see in the photo, but if you like pull on the railings, they're really loose, and some of the stair parts are damaged. And you can see right there. It was taken on 11/22. The case timeline. On 11/22, I inspected the complex and found that a number of the stairwells were damaged. On 11/22, I posted the property and City Hall. On 1/18, I spoke with the property manager this morning. She advised that they're in process of bidding out the repairs. On 1/19, I spoke with the manager who advised that the work has not been done to the stairs and they're having it bidded out. On 2-2/23, I posted a notice of hearing on the property in City Hall. So this is still another part of the stairs that haven't been repaired. They're still loose. The railings are really bad. The staff recommendations are adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $231.33, plus all other costs accrued, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance.
Okay.
I have, this is one of the apartment managers there.
Okay. You want to speak to?
I'm actually the assistant manager, and I'm very new to the community. Unfortunately, our property manager had a family emergency, and she's going to be out of town for a week or two.
Okay,
So
let's
I
say,
will tell you
hold,
what
hold,
I'm aware of.
go ahead and step to the mic.
Yeah, so
State your name for the record.
Amanda McGrath.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You may proceed, Ms. McGrath.
So unfortunately, I've only been at the community since late December, and I'm here in place of the current community manager or senior manager. I have been made aware of the situation, and the information that I have from our contractor is that we have, out of the 34 buildings, only 10 that are still in limbo with repairs, and 10 days should be sufficient to bring those into compliance.
Okay. Then, so you have a contractor on site?
We do.
And they've already been in the process of making repairs?
Yes, sir.
And how many buildings do you think they repaired today?
So out of 34, we've got 10 that are still needing repairs.
Okay.
That's my understanding, or what I was told by the contractor.
Are we dealing with rotten wood, or are we just dealing with loose attachments?
Loose handrails, and then a couple of rotting situations on some of the exterior porches.
Okay. So you are representing that you can get this done within 10 days. If there's any problem, you or your company can come back and seek.
Sure. Additional.
What I tell folks is make sure you keep your records, make
Right.
sure you document things very well, and that you're able to come in here and show that the effort was
Absolutely.
strong and continuous throughout the process.
Okay.
It's construction, and things can go.
Vendors are a little
Slower.
backed up right now, so it was going pretty slow getting somebody on site, but
Well, I noticed that it was brought, I don't know if it was brought to the attention of the owner all the way back in November when it was first noticed, and then we're dealing with it still in January. So, there's a lot of days in there
right.
that could have gotten this job done, or at least made some advancement. And that's the kind of information I would be looking for is, starting in November, you receive notice, oh, there's a violation.
Right.
What's the response? And quite candidly, if it's a 60-day delay before anybody starts doing anything, that's not taking the situation very seriously. These are life safety issues. So, with the representations there, my ruling is going to be I'll adjudicate the respondent guilty I'll assess the administrative cost of $231.33 plus all other costs accrued. I'll allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $500 a day.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The presentation of the officer is admitted as Exhibit 1 to the record. Thanks, sir. Next one that we're going to hear is City of Gainesville versus Investors Realty Management, Investa Property Services, Special Magistrate Number 2022-131.
Did you not hear the Sweetwater case?
Oh, excuse me. My bad. Yes, let's hear the other Sweetwater case. Okay, proceed.
Special Magistrate Case 2022134, again, it's Sweetwater at 16th Avenue. The parcel number is the same, it's 15701055000. Owner is Sweetwater 16 LP. Property zoning is RMF7. Ownership established by researching official public records and documents. Same location again right here. Same day I was there for another violation. When I arrived on scene, the dishwasher was leaking. The right front burner on the stove didn't work well. There was damage from water damage next to the dishwasher on the floorboard of the cabinet. Also, the bedroom, there was issues with the bedroom doors, and in the bathroom area, the bathroom seal was cracked in the shower head. The main issue in the apartment was the flooring. It was, and I'll show you in a second. So this is the damage from the water next to the refrigerator that wasn't working. It was leaking. This is some of the floor damage right here. This was taken on 11/22. It's kind of hard to see in the floor, but it's really soft there, so when you step, the tile starts pulling apart. This is the carpet near the bedroom. When you stepped in it, we had one of our supervisors that is a lot smaller than me, and she stepped on it, and it looked like she was about to fall down in it. This is the ordinance violation for the interior surfaces, dealing with including windows, doors shall be maintained in good, clean, and sanitary condition. The corrective action was to make all necessary repairs to the walls, cabinets, and tub surface to ensure that each is in good condition. The violation for the stairs was 3054, stairs and walking surfaces. Just talking about every stair, ramp, and balcony and walking surface shall be maintained in good sound condition and in good repair. The corrective action was inspect all flooring in the apartment and in a professional manner repair or replace all damaged areas so that the floor is in sound condition, good repair, and install it to the manufacturer's standards. Obtain any required permits. The timeline, I went there on the 22nd, inspected it. They had a corrective date of 12/7/22. I posted the property and City Hall with a notice of violation on 11/22. On 11/30, I spoke with the complex, the complainant, who advised that maintenance from the complex came into the apartment but did not do any of the work. On 12/9/22, the apartment complex fixed the shower head, the bathtub, the burner from the stove. Just on 1/5/23, I tried to reach out to the apartment complex, was unable to speak with anybody. On 1/19, I spoke with the property manager. They said at the time that they had a company who already came out there and said they were going to do the work, but when I went in there on the 19th, they couldn't get a hold of the person anymore, so they had to go to another company. Then on 2/2/23, I posted a notice for the city of property for the property in City Hall. On 2/7/23, I inspected the apartment. Only some of the flooring was fixed. I guess the company came out. I was told by the complainant that they only had a certain area to fix, so they only fixed that part of the carpet, but there are still areas inside the house that weren't repaired. And this is some of the areas that wasn't repaired. when you could step, some of the stuff on the shelf here would shake when you're walking. This is some more of the cracking here. You can't really see it in the photo, but it's really soft there too. And then here are some of the water damage that they hadn't repaired.
By the time that last photo is taken, though, the source of the water has been repaired?
Yes,
Has been stopped?
they fixed that part, but they just didn't fix the damage to the bottom of the cabinet.
Okay.
Staff recommendations are adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $254.83, plus all other costs incurred, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $500 a day. I have the complainant is here too.
Okay, may I hear from the respondents? Is that you again?
Do you want to speak to the tenant first?
Did you have something that you'd like to say?
Yes.
Yeah, come forward. Let me hear from her first. Hello. Raise your
Hi,
right hand, please. State your name.
Rachel Hartnett.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may proceed.
I just wanted to say that this was, coming to code enforcement was really a last resort. For us, we've been trying to get this issue with the floor fixed for almost 2 years now in the apartment. We have had maintenance come out multiple times, the same maintenance gentleman who still works for the company. And on multiple occasions, he has commented that he is going back to the office to tell them how bad the floors are. The last time he was in the apartment, late last year, I think it was November, he had joked that the next time he visited us, we may be on the first floor, joking that the floor would collapse in between when he came back. It's really bad. The unevenness, especially in the tile parts, is really bad. The grouting has come out with all the tiles because the floor is so uneven. I've stepped on it multiple times. The soft parts of the carpet have wood nails coming out. I almost stepped on them, and it's extremely dangerous for me because I'm diabetic, so I need to be extremely careful with how I walk. So I just wanted to, just get that on the record.
And so they've been on notice, according to your testimony, they've been on notice of this condition for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much. Would you like to respond? Would you like to have an opportunity to respond?
Again, unfortunately, I don't have much information to glean to the situation. I have talked to the flooring company who did the original flooring repair upstairs. They did state to me yesterday that they can come and do the rest of the repairs. However, we will need all the furnishings removed in order to do the flooring. So I can schedule it. But I mean, honestly, that's all. Again, I was hoping for a continuance because the property manager who's been dealing with this is not able to be here.
Well, these type of things, the railing and the issues on the previous case, along with what's going on here, really kind of shows an overall lack of management. And
Right.
So much of like having an apartment complex like this is relationships that you have with people that can come in.
No, I completely understand.
Right,
And
I mean,
unfortunately, they've had a lot of changes in management. Mohini, our senior manager now, has only been there since I think November as well. So we're both coming into the situation and trying to get things on track.
Well, I'm not here to punish management. I'm here to determine whether the owners
Sure, absolutely.
of the property are responsible, right? I mean, you're just doing your job, and they have, and they're not. It doesn't seem like to me that they're properly taking care of the property, and they're leaving their tenants in a reasonably dangerous position, but certainly an unsatisfactory. I think we can all agree to that.
I
It's
understand,
unsatisfactory.
absolutely.
So, anything else you'd like to state? So, if there's this continuous and diligent effort to get this done and get this repaired, then you can come back and seek rescission of any fines that are there. This is going to be, I'd like to think that what I'm getting ready to do is going to encourage your owner, because they're not going to be able to get this accomplished in 10 days.
Right.
Okay, so this is going to accumulate at $500 a day. This is going to get very expensive very quick if they don't act and act now,
Yes, sir.
right? So I'm going to follow the staff recommendations because I think this has got to be addressed. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $254.83 plus all other costs accrued, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $500 a day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now the 10 days will not start running until I actually sign the order. It takes 4 or 5 days to get those sometimes, but the clock is ticking.
I understand. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is, and you guys are going to have to evidently be somewhat cooperative in helping them gain access to the property. Good news is you're likely to get some new flooring. So good luck, everybody. Keep it going. Now, back. Yes, Exhibit 1 is admitted to the record, the presentation of staff. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Investors Realty Management Investa Property Services Special Magistrate number 2022-131. After several moves to the podium, you finally make it.
Your Honor, this is a continuance from the presentation that Officer Sosa made last month on Vesta Properties and the issue with the stairwells. We did get correspondence from Vesta. They did have the engineer complete a study. They have the RFP out for bid, or in the process of getting the bids back. We've gotten reassurances from the engineer that they will inspect the properties through the process of the repairs to make sure that they stay safe, and have determined that they are safe to use currently. So from the city standpoint, we are reassured that as this process is completed, that the structures can be inhabited, and that the folks may have some inconvenience with the repairs, but there won't be any life safety issues with them.
Okay.
So we're happy with that. They
Okay.
also sent us the documentation showing that they have secured $4 million to complete the repairs and have them done.
I saw that too.
So if
So
I may
it's,
fast forward.
Well, I think that for the purposes of what we're doing here today, I'm of course want to hear from the respondent on this, but I'd like to lay out a schedule that everybody can look at. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seems like to me that everyone, the people that live there, the contractors, everybody would be well served by having a schedule of activity.
The hesitancy in that, in the discussion with the respondent, I'll certainly let him speak to that, is until the RFP is completed, they aren't going to have a full schedule in terms of how long it's going to take to complete the work. I've made an estimate on that in my recommendation to have it completed by October 1st, and if there's an issue with having it go that long, that we can certainly reapproach to have it extended beyond that.
What? Okay. Is that what? So this is what you want me to do?
Yes.
Okay. Let me hear from the respondent.
Yes, good morning. Scott Kiernan, attorney for Campus Edge Condominium Association. That's the apartment complex that controls this, not the Investor Realty Group, which is just simply an owner. And I have with me Diane Hancock, who is a member of the board of directors.
Let me swear Ms. Hancock in.
Absolutely.
Do you, please state your name for the record.
Diane Hancock?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And since the last hearing, we have complied with every procedure within the order that you issued to a T. The most recent correspondence from the code enforcement manager, Mr. Backhouse, was that all the concerns have been addressed. We did provide the RFP, we did provide the life safety report, the proof of funding. We have even sent out the RFP, the request for proposals. We have even, and we notified them that we received 2 strong bids back already. We also have the repair drawings as well. And the 2 companies that submitted the bids happen to be very strong concrete and building restoration general contractors. So one of those 2 is likely to be hired, although we do believe we're going to get another bid back in as well. On the 22nd of the month, there is actually a presentation with the owners. Again, this is all trying to keep a schedule.
22nd of this month.
That's correct.
Okay.
And this is all trying to keep a schedule so we can, comply with the order that you have issued. And then on the next day, the very next day, are the contractor interviews for the 2 contractors that actually have submitted the bids. And there could be a 3rd contractor interview.
Interview by who?
The board of directors.
Are the owners going to be able to participate in any?
In a condominium association in Florida, under the Florida Condominium Act, the board of directors hires the contractors. So they're the entity that actually interviews and contracts with them. But full disclosure, they're doing one of those town hall meetings the night before with all the owners. They can appear in person or via Zoom. I'm going to be there. The engineer of record's going to be there. The board's going to be there and answer any and all questions that these owners would have, because it's obviously a large
And so that's
restoration project.
that's when the selection of the contractor's made.
No, that's the night before, and then
No, well, I mean that, but you're talking about the process of selecting the contractor.
correct. Yes, the process of actually selecting the contractors the next day. The night before is the town hall to let the owners know with the repair drawings what exactly is going to be done to the building.
Okay, and so is there some reason that we can't give you, say, 20 to 30 days past the proposed date for the meeting with the contractors to let the board make the final selection and enter a contract?
I see no reason why 30 days after the interview of the contractors, the board would not have selected a contractor and actually had me review and approve the contract. So I don't think that's an unreasonable burden at all.
So I'm just wondering, we have so you have violations bringing to compliance by October the 1st. I mean, that doesn't really seem that practical in a way. Can you do all the buildings that quickly?
I don't know.
I,
That is going to be difficult. I mean, assuming we even hire the contractor in March, which they're going to hire the contractor in March, this contractor could say, look, you have a very large project. We have to mobilize. I can't even get permits pulled in time to start the hammering of the nails till like May 1st. I got to deal with the rainy season. Yes, there's a lot of buildings to be constructed. If I had to say, can I guarantee they're going to be done by October 1st? I have no control over that. I'm going to put a very strong contract together that's going to have penalties and liquidated damages and all that sort of fancy language. It still doesn't mean at the end of the day that a contractor can't say, hey, I can only work with the manpower and the materials that I have at the time and the weather. So, yeah, I could be, I assure you, people in the building of the board of directors do not want a construction project to take any longer than it has to. If they can get it done by June 1st, fine. But yes, in a realistic world.
do you have any idea? I mean, until these contractors
Yes.
go further, they're not going to have any idea.
I've seen contracts on
So you've
restorations.
You've not received any representations from them how long it's going to take?
No, it could be.
Anecdotally, we've heard 1 year. Anecdotally, we've heard 1 year.
Right.
From the construction companies. We haven't received their, all their official bids yet. Certainly, it's a $4 million project. It's not gonna take weeks. It's gonna take months and months.
Well, it depends on how many men and workers they throw at it, and their processes, and that adds expense too. Okay, so I mean, I in my mind, I want to set deadlines. Okay, the most important deadline, I think, and this is where I think I want input from the city, is entering into the contract and then commencement of work. And then maybe the answer is to put a condition of continuous effort during the process,
Sure.
and then perhaps having a coming back before me and a review of the city on October the 1st.
No objection. As a matter of fact, one of the concerns, obviously, with the city is safety. And that throughout the project, that it be monitored for safety while the buildings are getting, one building's waiting on the other building. And that was the assurance of our engineer, that he will monitor the safety of the project if they need to jump around from building to buildings.
Totally agree with that.
Yes, that was the most important thing, I think, from the city as well.
Okay.
For all of us, yes.
So going back, council, what, I don't think I don't think the city is concerned about any other date other than what are you willing to commit that there will be a contractor under contract? What date?
I don't see any reason why I would go further than April 1st.
So if I put down April 15th, would that give you adequate time?
More than enough time. I can't guarantee a permit and a hammer is going to be thrown by that point.
No, I'm talking about under contract.
Yes.
And then, and I understand we don't have the commitment, but I think that this needs to maybe be part of the selection process, is when can they commence? Right? I mean, you know, we live in a market now where it's like, well, I'll take the job, but I can't start for 60 days. So maybe part of your interview process needs to be, when can you commence? And so can we say that you'll commence by, and mobilization is not much, right? I mean, it's a pretty low bar. June 15th? June 30th?
Yeah, June 15th. That'd be fine.
June 15th for
Well,
mobilization?
June 30th, since you're offering. I mean, I just want to be an abundance of caution. Nobody wants to delay this. One of the problems that they're encountering already, at the risk of throwing up a problem that I'm not sure exists, is there is a municipal code that requires that the first floor be no less than 30% brick in Gainesville. And that's a problem because the brick is what's caused the problem with the being so porous, allowing water intrusion. So we're trying to get around that. I'm sure that would, once they put together the drawings and show that there's going to be a much more safer product that's put on the building than brick. So I don't think that's going to delay anything. I don't know that that's going to be a problem getting around, but.
Okay, but, so April 15th, contractor selection, June 30th for mobilization, and then requirement of continuous construction during the repair process.
No objection?
And then a review in October. Or do you want one? Or, I mean, under these terms, it would strike me that you might want it
And I don't
earlier,
think that
but-
needs to be a meeting back before you, if we can have an update at that time on the progress that's been made. And if we can agree to a completion date of 1 year at that point with the review in October to see progress that has been made.
Well, I mean, unless we're going to have a difficult time maintaining jurisdiction over it, it would seem to me that we would all be, I mean, there's hundreds of people that are involved in this. So I want to make sure that it's moving forward. And so I would like it to come back before me
Okay.
on the 15th. I would like to know what the status is. And at that juncture, I would like to set a deadline. I think with, what we're talking about starting in June, you're going to have 5 or 6 months of construction activity. You're going to have the experience of the contractor. And I would hope that by that point, the contractor can make a commitment as to when this project will be done, and then we can state it in the public record, and everybody knows what the answer is, and they can rely accordingly. Does that seem reasonable and logical?
No objection. You're talking about coming back here in October for
October,
status.
and for the October, so continue to October. October code enforcement hearing. And what we'll be doing on October the 15th is reviewing for compliance with the order and make an effort to set a final deadline for completion of construction.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to enter an order continuing the matter. Speak up if you object. So continue to October, I'm sorry, what day?
12.
So it's continued to October 12th, code enforcement hearing. And at that time, we're going to enter an order here today that sets the deadline for contractor selection for April the 15th. Mobilization by June the 30th, requires continuous construction and repair process until completion of all of the work. So that's for the entire duration of this project. And then on October the 12th, we're going to come back and we're going to review the status of the case, and we're going to determine a deadline for completion of construction.
No objection.
Does that all seem okay with everybody? City okay with that?
We are fine with that. If any of those conditions are not met, what would be the penalty? Can we come back earlier? I have full faith that they're going to be, but just in case something happens where the contract doesn't get awarded or work doesn't commence, since you're setting those up as conditions.
So the city of Gainesville is requesting that I go ahead and adjudicate this case.
Yes.
What's the position of the respondent on that? It does not seem like that's that big of a problem at this juncture.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Well, I would follow staff's recommendations here today, or some variation of it. And we would adjudicate the respondent guilty. We would assess the cost of $244. We would alter condition number 3 to this schedule, and then the compliance, we're reviewing compliance with the conditions that we lay out in this order that I just went over. And violation of that, I don't think $500 a day is, I think $100 a day would be more than adequate. So in other words, if you don't get the contractor selected by that date, then, date in the order, then
Right.
you have a penalty. If you don't mobilize by the date, you have a penalty.
I guess the litigator in me has a problem with the language of adjudication of guilt. Can we say adjudication withheld?
I don't think I have that option.
And obviously, the reason for that, so Mr. Kiernan knows, is that an adjudication of guilt means that if we come back at a future time, there's additional sanctions that can be assessed for violations on the property. That's why the adjudication of guilt is important from the code enforcement standpoint, because it becomes a repeat violation situation.
I mean, the good news,
And this has been going on since 2014.
yeah, I know.
Okay, obviously, yeah, we would accept that there'd be a penalty if we didn't comply with any of the terms set forth today.
Okay. And my apologies that there's an adjudication of guilt, but I think it is mandated under the circumstances. But I do think that there is the need to go ahead and bring this to closure.
Sure.
And then that way, when we're looking at the schedule, and we're coming back on this October 12th date, then we're reviewing for compliance with actually an order of this driving. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm certainly not looking to be punitive in any regard in this circumstance. Okay.
Okay.
But I am bound by these terms and conditions. So I'm going to go ahead and render the order. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $244.42. I'm going to lay out an order of compliance as previously stated, where there will be a requirement that the respondent hire a professional engineer. And please speak up as I enumerate this if I'm not getting this right, but to hire a professional engineer to evaluate and maintain safety procedures and protocols. There will be a contractor selection by April 15. There will be mobilization of that contractor by June 30th. There will be a requirement for continuous construction and repair until all repairs in the building and the complex are completed. We'll bring this matter back before the magistrate on October the 12th for that code enforcement hearing. And at that time, it'll be reviewed for compliance with the conditions stated and set a deadline at that point for completion of the entire project. I'm going to assess if there's failure to comply with the terms of the schedule, be a fine of $50 a day.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to present Officer Sosa's PowerPoint as Exhibit B and the documents submitted by the company as Exhibit A.
Okay. So I'm gonna start numbering them. So I'm gonna do exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted to the record. Thank you. Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2. All right, I believe that brings us back to our regular agenda. We have a reduction in rescission hearing. This is City of Gainesville versus Anderson, Harvey, and Harvey, Special Magistrate number 2019-117. It's for a hazardous tree. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you. Waiting for the PowerPoint. Go ahead and begin, and I'll catch it up. Special Magistrate Case 2021-050. The address of the property is 420 Northeast 15th Street. Of course, I'm presenting the case. Parcel number is 11397-000-000. The owners of record are Anderson and Cutts et al., and it's zoned single family. Ownership established by researching official public records and documents. Property is located on Northeast 15th Street. 15th Street.
Northeast.
North, 5 blocks north of East University Avenue,
Okay.
and just south of Northeast 8th Avenue. On 9/16/19, Supervisor Nicole Lardner conducted an investigation of the property for a complaint of a dead tree. City arborist confirmed that the tree was dead and hazardous. Notice of violation was issued for that violation. As the violation was not corrected, the case was heard on 12/12/19 by the magistrate. Guilty verdict was obtained, violation to be corrected by 1/17/20, fine of $25 a day assessed, plus cost of $90.36. Property was placed in compliance on 12/21/22. Fines accumulated to $26,700 plus the assessed costs, and the costs have been paid. On 1/9/23, I and our acting director, Forrest Edelton, met with the owner, Willie Cutts, via Teams. Mr. Cutts advised the property has been vacant since 2017, when family member living there passed away, and the other 3 family members on the deed are also deceased. So there was no owner that could be contacted regarding any violations on the property. Mr. Cutts found out about the lien when he tried to sell the property, and after getting clear title, he had the tree taken down to correct the violation at a cost of $5,000. He also has a cousin now monitoring and maintaining the property to keep it in compliance with our city ordinances. His intent is to sell the property. Based on the amount spent to remove the tree, the city recommends the fine be reduced to $500, and Mr. Cutts was amenable to that in our conversations.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Mr. Cutts can't be here today because he was diagnosed with COVID over the weekend. So he's not going to be able to discuss it. This is the violation at the time that it occurred. The tree in the back there with the pink ribbon around it was the hazardous tree, very sizable as you can see.
It is.
It had dropped a branch, which was what part of caused the initial complaint to begin with. And this photo was taken on 12320 by Supervisor Lardner. As you can see, the house is boarded up and abandoned currently. This is a photo I took yesterday. The tree has been removed. It has been cleaned up. The property has been cleaned up, and it's in much better condition than it was. So we are recommending, based on the actions taken by Mr. Cutts, to reduce the fine to $500.
Okay. The respondent's not here, so I will go ahead and rule and accept staff's recommendation and reduce the fine to $500.
Thank you. I'd like to present my PowerPoint as Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1 is admitted to the record. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Chauncey Keithel, trustee, special magistrate number 2022-135.
Mr. Braswell, sorry for the interruption, but you still have one more respondent here for KAMLA Enterprises.
Okay. Then let's hold on that. My apologies, sir. Okay, I see it. City of Gainesville versus KAMLA Enterprises, Inc. at Special Magistrate number 2022-136. Officer Gata. You may proceed.
Good morning. I'm presenting case 2022-136. The location that is at 1901 Southwest 13th Street, investigated by myself. Parcel number is 15627-000-000. Owner is KAMLA Enterprises, Inc. The zoning is UB. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. The location there, it is just south of Southwest 16th Avenue and just east of 13th Street.
Okay.
On 12/2 of 2022, we received a complaint from the State of Florida Department of Hotels and Restaurants that the roof of the Days Inn over the lounge area had caved in. During the initial inspection with Officer Ward and with Supervisor Martin, one of the owners, Mr. Hernan Patel, was on site and stated that the roof had collapsed approximately 6 to 8 months ago. Upon the inspection with the Code Enforcement Supervisor Martin, the building was deemed as hazardous. Oops, I'm sorry. So this is just a photo from a full view of the front of the hotel. This is the caved-in area of the lounge. As you can see, the roof area, and there's balconies that go around it and that go around, but there are no people occupying that area at this time. So here's another view of the caved-in roof area. And so you can see also from this one how there's more balconies. And those walkways still are not currently secured. But there is no access to this area directly unless somebody comes up in this balcony area. But from inside the hotel, there's no way to get to it. It's locked off. Ordinance violated is section 16-19, dangerous building and hazardous land, creating, keeping, main. It shall be unlawful for any owner of real property within the city to create, keep, maintain, or allow the existence of any dangerous building or hazardous land as defined below. The corrective action was that the building must be repaired, demolished, and/or abated. So timeline was on 12/6 of 2022, I inspected the property, as I said, with Officer Ward and Supervisor Martin, and the supervisor did deem that it was hazardous. On the 7th, I issued the notice of violation with a correction date of January 7th, 2023. I posted it in the property of the City Hall and sent it first class and certified mail. On 12/19 of 2022, I called Mr. Hernang Patel to follow up, and he stated he had not gotten any estimates for repairs. He said he was having difficulty because of the holidays and the time frame. On 12/29 of 2022, I spoke with Mr. Patel again. He inquired about an extension, and I reiterated that we would need a signed contract with a time frame for work to be performed. On 1/9 of 2023, I re-inspected the property and found the violations had not been corrected. As a result, I requested a hearing with a special magistrate.
Now, is it still in that same condition that was shown in the photo?
Yes, sir, I'll have a photo to show the condition still. I took a photo yesterday. I went by,
Okay.
yes. On January 30th, service was achieved by posting the property, City Hall, with the notice of hearing. I spoke with Mr. Patel's, another Mr. Patel, his father, it's his turn, yes. And I explained to him when I was posting, what the hearing notice was and what we would need to get a continuance. Yesterday, the property was still not in compliance. Here is a photo that I took yesterday showing the conditions remain the same. Oh, sorry. My recommendations for the staff are adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $266.01 plus all other costs incurred, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a daily fine of $250.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Patel, do you want to come forward?
Good morning, sir.
Raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you swear, or that's your left hand, isn't it?
Sorry.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Your Hemang, Hemang, Patel, Patel.
Okay. You may proceed.
Yes. Basically, this happened about 6.5, 7 months ago. This is the part of the lounge in the hotel where the roof was, I guess it's caved in because of the age of the roof. And we're trying to work with the insurance company. Finally got to agreement for them to cover this expense, help us cover some of this expense. And now the challenge is finding a contractor to come and do this job. I finally got a contractor, and I have a contract they haven't signed yet because he's going to come down to the site and sign with me together. And he sent me an email 2 days ago saying he's coming next week or week after that to sign the contract.
Okay.
And the roof, the lounge is closed for the last 10, 12 years, so the building is completely closed.
Yeah, well, that's kind of clear.
No, I mean before that, so it was never in use. So we
well-
want to fix the building. We want to fix the roof because we can't. It doesn't help us having it like this.
This is an unacceptable situation.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, demolition is not that expensive.
No, we want to fix it.
Well, clearly, I mean, you got to get somebody in there to remove it. I mean,
Yes.
you're not going to repair from where it sits now. You got an entire collapsed roof
Right.
laying
Gotta
on
put a
the
new roof.
ground.
Yes.
You got to get that out of there,
Yes.
and you got to secure the area. And the fact that it's been sitting there for 7 months is not, very persuasive.
Okay.
As far as having me mitigate the damages here.
Because the problem was the insurance company. We would.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. It's on you, and this is in town,
Okay.
on South 13th Street, and you have guests that are staying there in a public place. This is unacceptable.
Okay.
I mean, take a loan, do something to gather the money to pull that building and those materials and secure the area. It's just, I'm quite candidly, I'm sitting here astonished that you haven't done that, that you're just sitting there for 7 months with that condition in a public space like a hotel. I'm astonished.
Yep.
So, you got anything else you want to say?
I'm just trying to see what we can do. I have
Okay,
to get a
go-
contractor to get this done.
Go get a contractor to go in there and demo the area, pull the stuff out of there, secure the area, take it to a landfill. I mean, it's seriously. Got anything else you want to say?
No.
I'm expecting you to do this with a little bit more diligence than, he might come in a week or two. Okay, so one of the problems that you have with me is that I'm pretty familiar with the industry.
Okay.
Okay, believe me, you can do it much, much faster than 7 months. So with that said, I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $266.01 plus all other costs accrued, allow 10 days, that is not a lot of time, to bring the violation into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a daily fine of $250.
But I can't do it in 10 days. I'm trying to get a contractor to come and get the whole job done.
But you can do it in 7 months, and you've had 7 months.
'Cause we
Okay, and the officer's been communicating with you.
Yes.
Today is the day of reckoning. Okay, you've made some choices, and they were the wrong choices. Your choice was, let me find a contractor and figure out how to get it out of there. It's not about the money, it's not about the insurance. You can handle all that with photographs and communications and state your claim 7 months ago. Okay, that's not what this case is about. This case is about having a dangerous situation that is not properly cordoned off from your guests. You have guests in that hotel, and you haven't done anything with a collapsed building in 7 months. It is unacceptable. That's my ruling. If you want, you can keep up with your activities and what you've done. And if you can't do it in 10 days, the fine's going to start to accumulate, and it's going to run on you. But you are going to need to come back to me on a reduction and rescission, and you're going to need to identify and show every effort that you've made, every phone call, every number you've called, everybody you've communicated with in order to get somebody out there and take care of this problem. And I would suggest you start today.
Okay.
Because if you don't, I'm going to look at that when it's time to do the reduction and rescission. So you're going to have to make a stronger effort than what is shown on this record.
Okay.
Okay? So that's my ruling. The staff's presentation is admitted as Exhibit 1 to the record. Thank you, sir. Is there anything else? We have compliance and dismissal.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. City of Gainesville versus Chauncey Keithel trustee. It's Special Magistrate number 2022-135. You may proceed, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Our special magistrate's case number is 2022135. The address is 1912 Northeast 16th Way. Investigated by me. The parcel number is 10804-095-000. The owner is Chauncey Keithel, trustee. The property zoning is RSF2. Ownership was established by researching in public records and documents. The property is off 16th, Waldo, 16th,
Okay.
right in.
Right.
On 10/13/22, I conducted an inspection on a separate property. When I observed this property had multiple abandoned vehicles out in front of it. I also observed a lot of trash and debris throughout the property, and proactively opened up a case to address the violations. Vehicles were stickered at this time, and the NOB was generated for the rubbish. This is the vehicles out front. I stickered the 3 in the front right here, the 2 white trucks and the red Mustang.
Okay.
And this is some of the rubbish right here. That's stuff right there.
Somebody sleeping in that van?
No, they sleeping in the house.
Okay.
So,
Just questioning the tarp.
yeah. It's like he also do, I guess, mechanic work in there.
Okay.
So. That's some stuff. Orders violation was 308, accumulation of rubbish and garbage, exterior property and premises, and that exterior of every truck shall be free from any accumulation of rubbish and garbage. Corrective action was remove all rubbish and trash from the property, keep it clean regularly in accordance with the city codes and ordinances. Timeline, on 10/13, I was conducting a reinspection of a separate property. I observed several abandoned vehicles. While I was placing stickers on the vehicles, I noticed the property was covered with rubbish and debris. On 10/14, I issued a notice of violation. On 10/14/22, service was achieved by posting the property and City Hall with a notice of violation. On 11/1/22, I told the white Dodge pickup from the property and other vehicles had already been removed. On 11/8/22, I conducted a follow-up inspection of the property. No changes had been made to the property. I requested a notice of hearing be issued. On 11/16, I discovered the property had been sold, so I had to reissue a notice of violation to the new owners. On 1/4/23, I conducted a reinspection of the property. It still was not in compliance. I put in a request for a special magistrate hearing. And 1/31, I posted the property in City Hall with the magistrate paperwork. This is the property yesterday. Still stuff pretty much the same. Staff recommendations: adjudication of guilt, assess administrative cost of $209.57, plus all costs accrued. Allow 30 days to bring the violation to compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day.
Thank you. Is anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation, adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $209.57 plus all other costs accrued, allow 30 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day. And the staff presentation is admitted as Exhibit 1. And that brings us to our compliance and dismissals. We have Swalakon, Davi Warnoff, and KAMLA, Special Magistrate number 2022-132. That case is deemed to be in compliance and dismissed. Is there anything else on the agenda for this morning?
Your Honor, we have 3 new code officers who are starting with us. Brett Trawick is here.
Hi.
Thomas DeMaio and Dylan Huff are also on our staff, so we've got them in training and look forward to getting them out into the community.
All right, good luck. Good luck. Anything else come before the magistrate? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.